Welcome. Welcome everyone. We are Spring Consulting. I'm Brett. This is Charles, Jenny, Lydia, and Anna. First, we would like to thank Nokia's board of directors for this opportunity to present our ideas. Our agenda for today is to go through the issues, followed by our analysis, the alternatives, the recommendation, and finally the conclusion. Nokia has evolved from its humble beginnings as a paper mill company to today's multinational communications corporation, selling cheaper, smaller, and sleeker handsets to consumers worldwide. From its recent acquisition of Symbian in 2008, Nokia has continued on its path as a dominant player in the mobile industry. There are, however, 5 prevalent issues that Nokia currently is facing. The first issue is Nokia's intense competition from both the high-end and low-end mobile markets, from some companies such as Apple, RIM, LG, Samsung, Motorola. The second issue is its declining revenues from developed countries. In 2007 to 2009, Nokia has experienced a drastic decrease from its revenues from developed markets such as USA, UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain. This is partly contributed by the negative impact of the financial crisis, which has affected not only Nokia but also the vast majority of firms. With the consumer credit outstanding decreasing, Nokia needs to appeal to consumers who are now more cautious of their purchases. The fourth issue is the rapid development of the mobile industry in recent years. As the graph illustrates, the number of mobile cellular subscriptions has risen at a much higher rate than the rest, reaching a total of 68.3 subscriptions per 100 inhabitants, while the second place lags behind at 26.3. The fifth issue is the declining average sell price of mobile handsets over the years. This means that Nokia will need to sell more units to rake in the same amount of revenue. With those in mind, we would like to address is how should Nokia reinvent itself to adapt itself to the current global mobile industry. Next, Charles will discuss our analysis.
Thank you, Brett. So to start our analysis, we took a look at the mobile industry as a whole. We first took a look at the global market and were able to divide it into 2 subsections. The first section is the developing market. This includes countries such as China, Russia, and India. The other section is the developed market. This includes countries such as the United States, Japan, and Europe. These 2 markets differ significantly in buyer preferences, mobile uses, and purchasing power. Once we were able to divide the global market into 2 sections, we compared these 2 markets using Porter's 5-force model. As you can see from the slide, we were able to get 2 main takeaways from this. The first is that the mobile industry is still a very attractive business for Nokia to be in. As you can see in both markets, there is a low threat of new entrants. This is due to the fact of the high cost of capital to create a cell phone company. There is also a low supplier bargaining power in both markets. This is due to the fact that there is a low switching cost to switch suppliers in the cell phone industry. Our second takeaway is that we believe there's a lot more opportunity for success in developing markets. Not only is there a less of an industry rivalry within this market, there is also a lower buyer bargaining power and a lower threat of substitutes. This is primarily due to the fact that consumers in the developed market have a lot more options with communication, such as video conferencing, internet-based calls, fixed lines. So we were then able to compare Nokia to individual companies within these 2 markets. The first, compared Nokia to companies that get a large percentage of their revenues from the developed market. This includes companies such as Apple, RIM, and Palm. We compared these companies on 2 key financial ratios that we found to be important. This includes gross profit margin and return on assets. From this slide, you can get that Nokia had one of the worst out of the 3 companies in return on assets and gross profit margin. This suggests that the other companies were more successful in deploying a strategy in the developed market. When you look at Nokia versus companies that receive a large percentage of their revenue from developing markets, you get a very different story. Companies such as Motorola, Sony Ericsson, LG, and Samsung get a large percentage of their revenue from the developing market. And Nokia, when compared to these companies, has not only the highest gross profit margin and a solid return on assets, but it seems to be the only company that has been able to deploy a strategy that continuously has a successful profit. Not only did we find that Nokia has had past financial success in the developing market, we've also seen that there's a huge potential for growth in this market. As of 2009, there's 113.2 subscriptions per 100 people in the developed world. In the developing world, however, there is only 58 subscriptions per 100 people. This suggests that while the developed market has become saturated, the developing market is completely untapped and has a huge customer base that has yet to even have a mobile phone. After looking at the mobile industry, we were able to then look at Nokia as a company itself using a SWOT analysis. We first looked at the company's strengths and opportunities. A few strengths that we were able to find is a strong brand image, being the largest cell phone company in the world, and having the most efficient supply chain. A number of opportunities include being a first mover in many emerging markets, as well as having the ability to merge with new mobile device platforms, namely Android and Windows Mobile. And also an opportunity is developing countries have completely bypassed fixed lines and have gone straight to the mobile phones. So on the other hand, we've also found a number of internal weaknesses and threats for Nokia. A few of these internal weaknesses include slow to identify new trends, a weak presence in the United States, and a weak high-end product line. There's also a number of outside threats. This includes the global economic crisis, lower handset prices, as well as increased competition from Apple and RAM, as well as increased competition from the lower end in the emerging markets. We took this into consideration before making our final recommendation. Our last part of our analysis that we found to be very, very important is the fact that in 2009, 40% of all cell phones shipped were by Nokia. This makes Nokia by far the most largest cell phone company in the world. We believe that this, when paired with its strength and opportunities, opens up a number of different alternatives that Jenny will now describe.
Thank you, Charles. Our consulting group came up with 5 different alternatives for Nokia, and its first option is to concentrate solely on the developed markets by investing in research and development to compete with Apple and RAM, by providing high-end smartphones with sleek features such as high-quality cameras in the front and back of the phone, and also touchscreen features to attract consumers middle to high classes. Our second alternative is to enter into an alliance with Microsoft and to use their Windows as the operating system by linking phone services to Microsoft's search engine, Bing, and by creating the OV Store app through the Windows platform. Our third alternative is to focus primarily on the developing markets and to offer only low-cost models by targeting consumers with relatively low income, by providing general services such as phone calls and texting, and also by developing handsets tailored to local conditions. Our fourth alternative is to maintain presence in the developed market and to enter into an open handset alliance with Google. And finally, our last alternative is to offer high-end handsets to the developing markets. And Lydia will now discuss the recommendations for Nokia.
So after we carefully analyzed our alternatives, we came up with a set of recommendations for Nokia. Our first recommendation is to join the Open Handset Alliance with Google, creating a new line of phones of Nokia by Android, which we believe this will be the new logo. The Open Handset Alliance is a group of 60-plus technology and mobile companies who came together from all parts of the mobile system to accelerate innovations in the mobile. They are able to offer richer and less expensive mobile industry experience to consumers. The handset manufacturers such as Nokia will benefit from a lower software bill of material cost, which will be able to relocate their funds from research and development from the software to hardware, creating the ability to a greater flexibility and differentiation on their phones. Nokia will also be able to create the OV Store app on the Android platform. And this alliance will allow Nokia to be a stronger competitor because other companies such as Motorola, LG, Samsung are already into the alliance with Google. And they will now be competing only about their hardware, which Nokia is already well known and successful. To demonstrate the significance of this alliance, we have data from the third quarter of years 2008 and 2009. As you can see, Symbian lost about 5% of the market share, which was almost entirely picked up by Android. Our second recommendation is related to segmenting the market. As Charlotte mentioned, we divided the global market into developed and developing markets. We believe that the best approach would be to subdivide the developing into emerging markets and bottom of the pyramid. The emerging markets are comprised of countries such as BRIC countries and the G20 growing economies, which are most of Latin America, parts of Africa, and Eastern Europe. The bottom of the pyramid is the largest and the poorest socioeconomic groups, but consists of about 2.5 billion people. Considering these three markets, we believe Nokia should subdivide into two sections. Nokia by Android, that will focus on developed and emerging markets, and Nokia by Symbian, that will focus only on the bottom of the pyramid. Now Hannah will explain a little deeper how we're going to implement this in each market.
Thank you. We've identified our first market as the developed market. We recommend that Nokia take its existing phones and phase out their basic models. The trend that we are seeing in consumers is that they want more and more smartphones. For Nokia, this means that their new phones will have the ability to surf the web, watch movies, play games, connect to social networks, all on one device. And then as we turn our attention to the emerging markets, we have to ask, what should Nokia offer? We recommend that Nokia offer high-end phones to the emerging markets similar to those that they already offer in developed markets. There's a desire in the emerging markets to have the advanced technology that the developed markets have. So in order to reach the populace, Nokia must market these phones as the cooler thing while investing in celebrity appeal and creating exclusive deals with local service providers. Who should Nokia aim at in emerging markets? Nokia should aim at the urban population of the high and middle class citizenship. And why? Because there's a strong demand in the population for advanced technologies. The economies of the emerging markets are growing rapidly, which allows for Nokia to have ample opportunity to grow. And the high and middle class of the emerging markets has the most purchasing power. For the bottom of the pyramid, we recommend that Nokia manufacture lower-end, cheaper phones built on the needs of the local population. Nokia will supply the population with the technology needed to keep their phones running, like towers and electricity, by partnering with other local service providers, government, and non-government organizations. And to better serve their customer directly, Nokia will set up shop within the local markets, in the emerging markets. That way there's convenient access to their accounts while they're getting their groceries. We've laid out a timeline for Nokia for our strategy, and in early 2010, Nokia should join the Open Handset Alliance and have adapted the OV store to the Android platform by the end of 2010. And Nokia should also have phased out their basic phones from their product line and fully distinguish Nokia by Android from Nokia by Symbian by the end of 2011. Jenny will now conclude our presentation.
This slide illustrates the costs and benefits of implementing our strategy. The benefits of joining Android substantially outweigh the costs because Nokia will increase sales, obtain its market share back, and also reduce competition. There is no cost of joining an alliance with Android, and our strategy is solely focused on reorganizing Nokia by reallocating costs and resources. Nokia is famous for its ability to reinvent itself, and we have no doubt that the firm will weather this storm and continue its path as an industry leader. This concludes our presentation, and we would like to thank you for your time, and we'll be opening up the floor with